if you were a kid growing up in the early 90s, there was really nothing cooler than Mortal Kombat. Like, just the words Mortal Kombat invoke an emotion upon 90s kids because of how cool this franchise was. It was unlike anything we had seen before in a video game. These digitized graphics, this over the top violence, fatality, hidden things. And I think that the original Mortal Kombat games have stood the test of time for not only being nostalgic, but for being pioneers within the video game industry. A brand new collection of Mortal Kombat games has just come out called the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. I'm checking out the game on the Nintendo Switch 2, and I have quite a few things to say about this game. Mostly good, and a couple little questions here and there, but this is definitely a really good collection if you are a Mortal Kombat fan. So the first thing I really like about it is, of course, you have all of this historical stuff that goes into the game, but it really went above and beyond with some of the things that you have within this game as far as like characters and what you can learn about the characters. Each individual character from games ranging from the original Mortal Kombat to the Game Boy Advance Mortal Kombat games have full biographies, full intro stuff and outro stuff for their games, and different character models being represented from each of the individual games. And I just think from like a historical perspective, I love stuff like this. Like, Mortal Kombat actually has quite a bit of lore to it, which I think a lot of people don't recognize right off the jump. But there is a story that is happening here. It's just most of us were kids and we just wanted to burn people alive and rip their heads off and stuff like that. But I definitely love the attention to detail in this compilation as far as, giving proper respect to the characters in the games. As you could see here, like Reptile has his two fighting stances. Raiden looks different from Mortal Kombat 1 to Mortal Kombat 2 with the character model. I love little things like this. I know it's something that you kind of just look at it once and then you're done with it, but I think the extra effort goes a very long way for me as someone who is a fan of Mortal Kombat. There is a full-on documentary as well. I'm not going to show it. I actually haven't watched it quite yet because I know what's going to happen. I'm going to be like, I need the toys, the G.I. Joe Mortal Kombat toys. I need the comic books, because I yearn for nostalgia. I will be watching this. Obviously, you can't really show too much of it or anything like that. And then, of course, you have the games themselves. We have the full list of games here consisting of the original Mortal Kombat Arcade, Mortal Kombat Genesis, Mortal Kombat Super Nintendo, Mortal Kombat Game Boy, Mortal Kombat Game Gear, Mortal Kombat 2 Arcade, Mortal Kombat 2 Sega Genesis, Mortal Kombat 2 32X, Mortal Kombat 2 Super Nintendo, Mortal Kombat 2 Game Boy, Mortal Kombat 3 Arcade, Mortal Kombat 3 Genesis, Kombat 3 Super Nintendo, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 and Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 WaveNet Edition for arcades, Super Nintendo Ultimate Mortal Kombat Trilogy PS1, Sub-Zero for some reason, Mortal Kombat 4, Special Forces, Deadly Alliance, Tournament Edition, and as you saw, Mortal Kombat Advance. Now, I definitely love this lineup of games. You can change it by console, you can change it by arcade version. Every game that has an instruction booklet has the instruction booklet scanned into it. Once again, I love little things like this. I am just kind of curious, though, like, why no Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 Genesis Edition? Why no Mortal Kombat 2 Game Gear included in here? Like, I don't know. That's a little bit of a weird thing to me. Each game has its own individual cheat menu as well that allows you to access things, from either unlockable in the game or things that you can unlock within the game, like the test modes and stuff. Instead of having to do the codes, you just have immediate access to that, which I definitely like. And I love these instruction booklets. I love all the attention to detail and stuff like that. But I definitely felt like it was a little bit weird because you have the Game Gear version of Mortal Kombat 1, but not the Game Gear version of Mortal Kombat 2. You don't have Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 Genesis, but you have all these other Mortal Kombat Genesis games. I don't know. There's also flyers you could check out as well from the arcade stuff. Digital Eclipse definitely went above and beyond in terms of what you could do. There's training modes, there's different game settings for the arcade games as well. I absolutely love all of this stuff. Just the one drawback is I would have liked those games, and I know those are kind of deep cut games or stuff like that, but for me it would have been cool. And then of course when you get into a game, you have your different screen settings. There's actually not many options here. You have original, full, and widescreen. There's a CRT filter, a CRT kind of curved, and then off. I will be playing off because I don't like CRT filters. I do show some of the CRT filters for some of the games for you guys so you can see there. But there's additional settings. You can automatically face Reptile after winning a round if you want to get your ass waxed by Reptile. And then we have the games themselves. Now, we're not going to look at every single game because we would be here for quite a while, but I do want to highlight some of the games and just show, how the games look and run. This is original Mortal Kombat on the arcade. Just freaking A, man. Timeless game here. Yes, I still remember the fatality. The old man still has a few tricks up his sleeve. Mortal Kombat 2 Game Boy. I thought this was cool because you could do a Game Boy color palette in the options of it, which gives it a little bit more color. I actually used to play this game a lot at church. I would bring my Game Boy to church with me, and I would sit on the pew, and I would play Mortal Kombat 2 on my Game Boy. So a lot of nostalgia for me with this game. Definitely glad to see it. It's not the best game in the world or anything like that, but it's still a fun time, okay? And that's kind of like the highlight of this package, is just revisiting games. I remember renting Mortal Kombat 3 for the Super Nintendo because my buddy had a Super Nintendo, had a sleepover at his house, and we played this all night long. And I just really like, the diverse compilation of games that are available on it. Yes, some are missing in my opinion, but the overall package of games that you get, I feel like for most people, it's going to cover all of their bases. Like, how many people really played Mortal Kombat 2 on the Game Gear to begin with? And, it's just about the history of Mortal Kombat. But there's also still some surprises up its sleeve. With Mortal Kombat 4, you can actually increase the internal resolution of the game up to 4 times, which I did for this, which of course gives you a much clearer image quality and higher resolution textures. And I think this looks great. Like, Mortal Kombat 4 isn't a game that I played a lot. I did check it out on the N64 a bit, which is also not in this compilation, but whatever. But I definitely love this up-resing stuff. Like, this looks so nice to me, and I know there's some people out there, they don't really get down with it. They like their CRTs and their, counting their pixels and stuff like that. And that's cool. You can do that with this game, but I like that they gave me the option to up-res it, because now maybe I'll play this game a little bit more. Mortal Kombat 4, everyone was crying, we need a free Mortal Kombat 4. It's free now. You can play these games online. Now, I did play this early before the release came out for the game worldwide, so I didn't have a chance to check out the online stuff. For me, personally, I probably won't play Mortal Kombat all that much online. There's a lot of cheesy stuff you could do in the game. Here's Mortal Kombat Special Forces, because it's not all sunshine and farts with this compilation. There are some questionable games on it. This, Mortal Kombat Mythologies, really all the Game Boy Advance games. I've actually never played Mortal Kombat Special Forces, and in this brief time that I have been playing it, I don't hate it. Like, I think this is better than Mortal Kombat Mythologies. Mortal Kombat Mythologies is cooler because it has those cutscenes that play in between levels and stuff like that, at least in the PlayStation 1 version of the game, which is the only version of the game that is on here. The N64 one is not on here. But, like, I didn't hate the gameplay in this. It's a beat-em-up game. You go into, like, a first-person perspective with a gun, and, you're solving puzzles and stuff like that. I think this is more playable than Mortal Kombat Mythologies, because Christ almighty, that game has aged terribly. Absolutely terribly. And then, of course, you have the Game Boy Advance games, and it's just kind of like, did you need to put these on here? Like, I don't know. But like I said, it's more so about the history of Mortal Kombat, the history of the franchise, the history of how Mortal Kombat became what it became. And I think from that perspective, this compilation absolutely absolutely nails it. Like, I've been having so much fun just revisiting some of these games, trying to see what I remember from some of these games, hearing songs and stuff that like I haven't heard in so long from the soundtrack of the game, and having multiple versions of the game. I think it's just great because it allows you to relive very nostalgic memories, because that's that, you know, why did you have the Sega Genesis version of Mortal Kombat 1 over the Super Nintendo one? Because you had a Sega Genesis, you know, maybe you had a Game Gear and you wanted to check out Mortal Kombat on the Game Gear. I must have had this game because this song that plays in this level is embedded in my mind, and like I'm actually making it, you know, I'm like taking my time with this fight so that I can listen to the song. There is also a music player in the game as well. I did not show that off because I don't know, I feel like it's not the most interesting thing in the world, but there is a music player if you want to listen to tunes across all of the Mortal Kombat games. But there's just something about playing an old Mortal Kombat game, especially if you're, you know, older, you're like my age or something like that. And I'll always remember, you know, my late godfather, rest in peace, Uncle Mike, got me this game right here, Mortal Kombat 1 on the Sega Genesis, when I got my Sega Genesis Model 2 for Christmas in 1993. And my mom made me return the game. And I'll still complain to her today. But, like, you know, it's just that feeling, that feeling of nostalgia. It definitely brings back memories. So this is Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. It's awesome. I mean, what did you expect? Like, Digital Eclipse knocks it out of the park. Would have loved to have seen a couple more games from my childhood on here, but I can let it slide. Let me know if you plan on picking this up for the Nintendo Switch 2, as all of this footage is Nintendo Switch 2 footage. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like, comment, and share. Be sure to hit the bell notification as well. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.